Welcome back to the weekly news roundup. This is the business edition. Are you guys all ready for the business edition? Well, we're going to jump right on in with a little bit of positive and maybe some negative. I don't know. Positive, and you tell me what you think. Election news as relates to tech. We're not talking about candidates or any crap like that, but connected cars must be open to third parties, according to Massachusetts voters. So you guys have a totally insane governor up there who's like, the stores all have to close at 8 o'clock because coronavirus comes out at 9 and starts to kill everybody, and everybody's got to wear a mask at all times. But then you come along and pass one of the first right to repair bills on modern technology in the country, which is amazingly good. Basically, the rule says that no matter how the car is communicating diagnostic data, the owners and the third parties of those vehicles must have a pathway to getting all diagnostic data and parts for those vehicles, which brings the smart and the modern computerized car tech up into the same arena that cars have always been, requiring parts be available and that a person can go in and either do the work themselves or hire a qualified third-party mechanic to do the work themselves. So this is excellent. This is a good step in the direction of right to repair. And so I'm very pleased to see this happening. And hopefully we'll see more and more states start to follow in line now that one of them has cracked open the door. So good on you, Massachusetts. You guys over in California, I need to ask about this one. This is the one I have to think about, because on the one hand, I think that this is kind of a bad idea. On the other hand, I started to read into it a little bit going, well, okay, maybe it's a decent compromise. So, of course, this deals with Uber, Lyft, California, and the various rulings about contractors versus employees. Because as you're following through, California did pass rules where basically gig economy people had to be classified as employees, and then Uber and Lyft were added to this list of possible exceptions through Proposition 22, which Uber and Lyft were possibly illegally, but the lawsuit was indeed thrown out, so maybe not, telling people you should vote for passing this or whatever. So they ended up passing Proposition 22, which means that Uber and Lyft do not have to consider their drivers as employees. Now, companies do not want employees, they want contractors because they're cheaper. I am ashamed at one of the universities I got one of my degrees from is now laying off over half of their staff across the board and merging with another university and just bringing on adjuncts to fill in the missing gaps. Because adjuncts are temporary workers that you don't have to pay benefits, you don't have to pay the same wages. Basically, you can get the same amount of money from the students and pay out a third of the cost in the faculty. As you would having full-time staff. This is a common thing because you don't have to pay wage payroll. And from my perspective, a lot of people, I would wager the vast majority of people driving for Uber and Lyft do not realize that they are actually losing money doing it. Because when you are driving and you're a contractor, not an employee, you have to pay your own self-employment tax, which is like 15.3%, I think, if I remember correctly. So having my own businesses for 10 years, I had to pay that much extra on top of everybody else's taxes. And so they don't realize as much that. They don't realize the wear and tear. They don't realize the extra expenses, the extra costs. Some of them don't even realize you need to have better insurance. So there's a lot of things that by the time things are cut and dried, they may not make as much money as they think. But then I started looking into the rulings, and while the Proposition 22 does say they don't have to be employees, it does mandate that they do have some of the employee type benefits. And if I could find the list, I will read you the list. So the benefits include access to healthcare subsidies. So they can get cheaper healthcare. Basically, they can have an option to get healthcare plan. They have a minimum earnings guarantee, but what they lose is they lose sick leave, workers' compensation, and overtime pay. So those are the things that you can't do. So is this a good thing or is this not a good thing? And I've been critical of Uber and Lyft, and I will probably continue to be critical of Uber and Lyft, but I'm looking at this and saying, I haven't made my entire opinion about this one yet. Let me know what you guys think. Is this good for Uber and Lyft? Is this good for the drivers? Is this bad for Uber and Lyft, bad for the drivers? What's your overall take? I'd be curious to know. All right, on to non-election related stuff. Apple One is now available, and for the low prices of $14.95, $19.95, or $29.95, you can now pay Apple a monthly subscription fee for the privilege of living, apparently. So the individual plan, $15 a month, includes Apple Music, Apple TV Plus, Apple Arcade, and 50 gigabytes of iCloud storage. Is that like... I can imagine Apple Music and Apple TV probably aren't worth that. That's my guess. What about this Apple Arcade? Is that worth it or not? Let me know in the comments. To me, this is like, who doesn't like subscription services? This does seem a little bit pricey. Family plan is $20 a month. Basically, the same thing with 200 gigs of storage, with services able to be shared with up to 6 family members. And then the Premier is Apple Music. Let's see, all those. Oh, and it also has Apple News Plus. It has Fitness Plus, so you can send Apple all your fitness data. You get 2 terabytes of cloud storage, all for about 1/3 the cost of a hard drive. Yeah. All right, guys, up to 6 family members. So that seems to me a little bit excessive. But I don't know. You guys let me know. I mean, of course, if you look at the individuals, oh man, you're saving so much money. But do you really need any of that in this day and age? That's a fundamental question you might want to ask. All right. Gamestop. Wow, what's Gamestop up to? They are having a TikTok competition for its employees. And one of the prizes is 10 extra labor hours. Wait, what? I've never seen anything so Gestapo in my life. So it's on TikTok, and it's basically kind of like the nurses, the nurses in the massively overcrowded hospitals that had ample time to choreograph and record dance routines around empty hospital rooms during the middle of the alleged pandemic that was going to kill everybody, with empty hospitals and such. So kind of in the same thing. So the managers of the store were to rope in all of their GameStop employees and do a TikTok dance challenge. And the winner of it, and this is for the managers of the store, the winner would receive an Echo 8, an Echo Auto, a $100 Visa gift card, and 10 additional labor hours to use during Black Friday week. So in other words, if you win, our company will make sure you have funding to have 10 more hours to put your employees to work during Black Friday. The competition is to get more hours to work. Think about that. Well, as soon as it came out and this started spreading around, they took down the tweet because they really did not want people to comment on it, and they stopped. They became closed-mouthed to any reporters that asked questions. But definitely an interesting case there. Facebook news. Facebook has these semi-annually surveys, and 49% of Facebook employees don't believe it had a positive impact on the world. Very nice. Very nice. So, of course, they do have the half-yearly pulse survey. BuzzFeed reports that 51% of employees believe Facebook is having a positive impact to the world. Yeah, that means that 49% of them really don't. 49% are going, oh, God, this is just my job, but I hate every bit of it. Like, I am contributing to the destruction of the world by working at Facebook right now, guys. That's really what they're saying. I mean, honestly. Survey results came out. Let's see. Yeah, there's some survey messages. This is a surprise. Well, they actually said that was down by like 23%. Like only like 6 months ago, 75% of people said, oh yeah, we're doing a good job. 25% not quite so sure. Now it's just like, I think all of them are just like, oh God, what's going on? We have no idea. All right, XDA, of course, the famous phone forums, XDA developers, they have made a phone, and it's only available for 6 weeks, so buy now. Basically, they took a phone that's a year old. So this phone, which was a year old, and they upgraded the RAM and, let's see, they upgraded the RAM and the memory. So they went from 6 gigs of RAM to 8 gigs of RAM. They went from 128 gig hard drive to 256 gig hard drive. And then they're like, this is the first phone coming out with the Lineage pre-installed. It's got a QWERTY keyboard. $900, people. For a phone that's actually a year old, or a couple years old at this point, I believe. And they come out with this, and they're pitching this whole thing. Now, of course, you can get it now. If you act now, guys, you can get this phone for the cool low price of $699. Okay? Full retail price is $899, but for the XDA community, there's a limited number of devices available for $639, 29% off. We even have a pre-early bird for $600, saving 33% off. Head on over to the Indiegogo crowdfunding page to access the special page. Guys, if you read the comments, oh man, they aren't sure. Let's allow it. All right. Are we going to allow it? Yeah, they got totally slammed. People are like, y'all guys have lost your ever-loving mind, and I agree. $900 for a phone running Lineage? Are you insane? And it's not even some new phone. It's an old couple-year-old model that they just pulled out, threw some extra RAM in it, and said, hey man, we got the first Lineage phone. That's insane. That's insane. Yeah, crazy. Crazy. Anyway, on to our last story. Microsoft is now nailing shut the coffin of the control panel. So the control panel, now I need to go in and double check, like last time I looked in the settings, granted I don't use Windows 10 a lot. Last time I looked in the settings, there's only a third of the things in the control panel. So my biggest fundamental question is how the hell do you get to the rest of the settings that you need if the control panel is disabled? How do you do it? So they're actually going through, and even all of the background hidden ways you could do to get to the control panel, they're just redirecting all those into the settings panel. And hopefully they have everything there, but I don't know. I guess I don't really care because I don't plan on using Windows 10 anytime soon. I gotta say though, I was QAing a website today and I did have to pull up Windows 10, at least just double check if, you know, what was going on with it. So, yeah, but anyway, there you go. Microsoft is finally killing that control panel. Some people are like, oh yeah, that old legacy thing. I don't know. I thought it was way more organized and way more easier to understand than the new crappy settings app they have. But hey, this is Switch to Linux. I'm just going to tell you to wipe out Windows 10, install Linux Mint, and be done with it. There you go. Well, if you like this video and you like the news in the comments, you can use my affiliate links to help out. So today we are featuring ProWritingAid. Of course, I am an author. I need to pitch my science fiction book sometime soon. But I have my book, Synaptergy, is an excellent science fiction book, and I did use ProWritingAid for some of the interior grammar checks and things. Utilizing my coupon code here, tlm.li/PWA, you can get 20% off a yearly subscription or a lifetime subscription. And if you do that, that does actually help out the channel. They will send a percentage of that sale over to Switch to Linux to help us out. So go ahead and have a look at that. And these guys have been a privacy first company from the beginning. So thanks for watching, guys, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux. Thank you for watching this video from Switched to Linux. This channel would not be possible without the backing of the program supporters scrolling on the screen now. You can be a supporter at Patreon at patreon.com/TOMM or at thinklifemedia.com. I also want to thank the open source community who creates such excellent software that makes producing this show possible. Please remember to support your software communities. Thank you, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.